Oh, hello.
Hey, Freddie. Good to see you again.
Hey, good afternoon, Dennis.
Thanks for playing today.
Yes, I wish to play more, to be honest with you, but my work don't allow me to. I mean, I know you record this and put on YouTube, but uh, I I got two more jobs to take care. That's the reason why. But man, you do a great job. You guys are tremendous helping us, honestly.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
No,
We learned too.
I got all the personalities there with you. The amiable, the analytical, and I forgot the other two, but yeah, you guys are excellent,
So where
honestly.
are you located, Freddie?
I'm Jacksonville. I'm
Okay.
Jacksonville, Florida. So I'm learning a lot, and I got license in Puerto Rico as well, so I can cover that area when I can. Go Christmas and try to do some deals when I can. But yeah, just learning a lot.
Oh. Hi, David.
Hey Denny, how's it going?
All these note takers. I don't understand.
I think I would have been a better student if I had note takers when I was in school.
I would have been a better student if there was AI. I mean, you guys remember going to the library and going to the card catalog and then going through the microfiche, right?
I remember that.
Denny, I don't know if I'm able to admit people.
Your co-host, right?
I guess everyone's in. I'll let you know if there are any issues.
All right, well, good. Welcome, everybody. I know some people will be popping in. It's 1 o'clock Eastern. Welcome to Mastery Real Estate. Today's the 25th of August already. The year's kind of going pretty fast. So, hey, listen, this is your time that you guys can really, throw some things out there. We can have a discussion. Many of you, oh, there's somebody that basically hadn't been on a while. Model A, Model A. Good to see you. You still come up as Sherry though. So
Oh, good to
during our
see you guys.
recon, we have to be pretty snappy. Here we can take our time. We got a full hour. I generally start with a little tidbit. I'm going to give you a tidbit just to review a couple things. I joined Keller Williams about 10 years ago, and one of the main reasons I joined Keller Williams, and you don't have to be with Keller Williams to be on this, and there's other great brokerages, but what I loved about Keller Williams was Gary Keller was a real estate agent, and he's an opinion leader. And when he speaks, he's generally got some pretty good things to say. And one of the things I took to heart what he said is we should become the real estate economist of choice. Now, what that means is for our area, and there's a lot of stuff that we could know. And I actually asked the in recon, and I don't know if I ever answered the question, but I want to reiterate it right now. There's a lot of things going on in the world. There's a lot of things on the 24-hour news stations going on. And I live in Southwest Florida. Louise is on the other coast, Palm Beach area. Matt, if he joins us, which I see he's here, he's in Sarasota. So real estate is on everyone's mind, just next to mosquitoes. Okay, so everyone's talking about real estate. I want you guys to know, this is my little ditty, right? that I'm going to show you some graphs. So pin me so you can see the screen behind me. This is what Gary is talking about, becoming the local economist of choice for your segment. Now, what I'm showing you won't be your market, it's just our market. But if you go into MLS, it probably has a pretty simple function where you can say, okay, what has sold in the last month, year, week, decade, whatever. And it's under statistics. And so this information is integral for you to advise your clients and both buyers and sellers on the direction of the market. Now, I know in role play, what we want to do is we want to ask them what their opinion is. We don't want to be a big teller, but I have a point to this. You can just look at the bar graph. And there's some people that get like really excited over numbers. The numbers aren't important. Look at the trend in the number of sales. Y'all see that, right? It is going down. And so you can just kind of take a quick glance and see that sales are going down. How is that helpful in an appointment? Well, if you got a stubborn seller that doesn't want to reposition, now you can what? Show them data. That's one of the metrics. There's 3 metrics. The other metric, it would be prices. Now look at the run up we had during COVID, and now they're starting to soften. Now, both of that, sales and prices are indices that have happened in the past, but it's trends. Remember, we know 3 things. I'm going to stop, and Louise and Matt, you can't answer. This is a mastery level question. We only know 3 things. We know 2 things for sure, and 1 thing we should know as a real estate mastery. Who would like to tell me what they are? If you haven't written this down, then I'll wait to write it down. But somebody should know. David, you probably know. There's 3 things we know. When we go to meet with a seller, we know what's happened in the past, right? So you would know what's happened in the past. Number 2, we know what's going on currently. And the 3rd thing we should know are trends. Just by looking at these 2 graphs, can you now get a feeling for trends?
Yes.
That's it. That's all. And so this just happens to be single family homes in one county that I work in. But if you work condos, what would you do? You would do condos. If you do beachfront, what would you do? You would have the criteria reflect what you do. Like the high-rise market doesn't work like our single family market. Now, here's what's going to separate the big cats from the little cats. Next slide, right? Here we go. Inventory. You know intuitively there's more for sale signs, at least in the South, more than the North. I'm going to be coaching Bold in Boston, and they're still having low inventory. But in the South, particularly Florida, we have probably more inventory than we do have mosquitoes. I don't know. It's probably debatable. Here's the thing I want you to remember. Inventory will tell you what's going to happen next. So if you want a crystal ball, so when you sit with your sellers or buyers and you know past, present, and real estate trends, this right here will tell you what happens next. So if inventory grows, and you can see it's growing, that means there's more cans of beans on the shelf. What does that do? It puts downward pressure on pricing, right? That's how they come up with absorption rates, and we get all kind of complicated things in buyer seller's market. So what are you hearing me say? You don't have to be a Poindexter, a rocket scientist, or Bill Nye the science guy to figure out to be a real estate expert to know the trends. 3 data points: change in sales, change in price, and by the way, you're smarter than the average bear if you know the change in inventory. So if you're taking notes, I want you to make note of that. Look in your MLS how you can find that information out for yourself, because the last thing I'll say, and we'll go on into role play, and Louise will tell you how you can participate, is this: headlines are deadly. Most people don't read, they look at headlines, and headlines get duplicated in many different ways. This is not a current headline, but this is an example of what I'm talking about. When Powell said interest rates back in the 4th quarter of 2023, interest rates are going to fall 6 times in 2024. I want you guys to get ahead of that and know the trends, because you know the numbers, because headlines are deadly. I don't think I have to go into a lot of descriptions on that. we can get into role play. But do you have any questions on what I just said, or any comments whatsoever before we go move forward? That's the ditty of today.
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Headlines are deadly and information is power. So to be the local economist of choice is not only important to you, but it's critical in separating you from the other thousands upon thousands upon thousands of agents in this industry.
There you go.
Bev,
Well, you'll have Matt. Matt's on, and he's in Sarasota. He's been in a bazillion years, and anyway, so
go ahead, Bev.
I did put in the chat. What about days on market? Is that relevant as like trend?
Days on market
Mhm.
is a lagging indicator. And I use it very closely, but
Mhm.
days on market is a early warning sign of a shift. You start to see days on market titrate up or down,
Right.
and that indicates where the market's going. So if you start to see days on market titrate down, but you're not seeing inventory move a whole lot,
Mhm.
what you typically will start to see is days on market starts to titrate down, but then you'll start to see pendings and solds month over month increase, and then you'll start to see inventory come down. Now, if days on market are starting to titrate up like they did for us in April of 2022, month over month over month, but there was no writing on the wall. But I knew what that meant, and a lot of seasoned and skilled and diligent agents knew what that meant. Days on market titrating up means we're going to begin to see inventory climb, sales stagnate, and pendings stagnate. That's where you need to watch the month over month data, because the month over month data, let's say sales were up by 10% last month.
Mhm.
Days on market start to titrate up. This month, the next month, they're only up by 5%. The next month, they're only up by 3%. The next month, they're even. Then the next month, they're down. And then days on market just looks like this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you'd be basically telling them the trend, and then they would be either on the market or chasing it.
Right. You just say this is what's likely going to happen as a result of this. I
Mhm.
know you're focusing on sales,
Mhm.
but this is what I would caution you to pay attention to. This means something's happening.
let me put it in Florida terms. Let's say you have, your grandmother made sugar cookies, and my wife loves sugar cookies, and you save two for yourself, and there's only two people living in the house, so you put them in. I like them out of the freezer, so you put them in the freezer. You wake up the next day, and one cookie's gone. Someone's stealing your cookies. So when the days on the market start to grow, something's causing that, but it's not the issue. You got to go and find out who's stealing your cookies. That's what Matt said, basically. It is
Exactly.
a lagging indicator. It's not the problem. The problem is your husband or wife stealing your cookies. Is that a silly example, Matt?
No, it's a perfect example, a perfect analogy of what happens. It's not the problem. The days on market's you're never gonna, if you hear a realtor come to you and say the days on market are the problem, fire them. Don't listen to anything they ever have to say ever again. Because the days on market is never the problem. The days on market is an indicator you have a problem.
There you go. There you go. So great end of the questions, you guys. We want you to know this. This makes you very strong when you go and you're sitting at the table.
That's good to know because they confirm you. Basically, that's a confirmation. I'm assuming.
It's a
Valid.
symptom, right? Like when you go to the doctor, they can treat the symptom with pills or they can address the problem.
Yeah, you want to get to the root problem, right? All right. So Louise, let people know if they don't know, if there might be something already in the chat. And we're going to go start make people mastery people today.
Let's master it up. I don't see anything in the chat yet.
Matt Elise, it's good to see you, sweetheart. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
Good to be back, guys.
Yeah, yes. So things you should be thinking about, 3 things. And let's role play around this. Why should a buyer buy now, regardless of where you are? Or Why should a seller sell now, regardless of where you are? Or why should they hire you? Those are questions you should be asking. Because if you can answer them, your business will grow. Who's ready?
Until no, go ahead, Matt.
Just if anybody's on here from this morning and I mentioned, hey, let's talk about that, just so you know, I don't make notes on that. You'll have to remind me. So like that, now's your time to talk up after Matt Elise chimes in. I need you, anybody I said, hey, let's talk about that on Friday, you need to chime in now. And we don't make notes about that.
I do. Matt, would you be surprised to hear that I took notes?
Phenomenal. Thank you.
Okay, and I would like to address something you brought up this morning because it was amazing. You and Denny are droppers of gold nuggets each and every day. Thank you both. This morning you said, oh my goodness. I wrote
You're
it.
talking about the role play with you and the fact that the two agents were equal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Here,
Don't bring that up again. That's a sore subject.
Well, I didn't get to finish. That's the problem. You know, I didn't get to
well, I'm posting what I recorded from that, which I really enjoyed. And Denny, yeah, please share more with us. It's always good to have multiple options in our filing cabinet.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I would like to do, and we can do it today or some other day. They'll let you guys know you don't have to like try to memorize this stuff. It's just experience will help you, but you're on, at least you're practicing. For example, we should do take an objection, the same objection. And Matt and I mean, we parallel a lot, but we're different in some regards, right? So we could pick an objection and I will go silent where I can't hear, and then you just kind of wave when I can come on, and I'll handle the same objection. I wouldn't have heard what Matt had to say, or I could go first, it doesn't really matter. And you'll hear a couple of different versions of how someone who practices would handle it. Because here's the beautiful thing, there's no one way. So going back to the conversation we had today, let me just bring you up to speed and see if you can't, or you put the note in there, Matt dropped a pearl, but we had a seller that basically, and go back into role, Louise, that I'm the second interview. And she says, well, hey, look, I got you, I've interviewed you and the other agent, both seem acceptable to me. And so I said, well, okay, well, I think I'm going to go back into that. Let me just go back into what I said. Okay, well, then how are you going to make the decision if we're both equal? Let's just go back into role play. How are you going to make the decision, Louise?
So Denny, I had a list of criteria I was looking for, and you and Agent John Smith match it all. The only difference between both of you and what you said you're going to do, I mean, I'm sure there's subtle differences, but for me, the big pieces are important. And the only other difference is he doesn't seem to be as well established as you. He's got some little kids at home that he's, sending to private school. You look like you're well established. That's really the only difference that I see.
Okay, so not that I'm going to go back. Before she said that, it was a toss-up. I said, well, I'm here now. I mean, if it's a toss-up, you could either hire me now or make another appointment and have them come back and delay the process. She said, well, okay, I'll let them come back. That's that. Now, then I said, number one, I don't think that would be a legitimate response from the seller. But again, it doesn't matter what's legitimate. They don't play by any rules. Here's the point I wanted to make at that point. That if she said, okay, well, I'll go ahead and call the other agent. If you're going to be equal, then I'm going to call the other agent. I'll just hire them. Now, is that logical? Hey, listen, I'm DoorDash. I've got your pizza right now. Or you could order another pizza. Would it make any sense? No, I don't want the pizza. They're both the same price. I'll order a new one and I got one. No, it's not logical. But here's what I wanted to, the point I want to get it across is this. If the seller said, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and call the other agent, and she basically said we're 100% equal, and this is before she went into the experience issue, what does that tell you? This is the whole thing that I'm attempting to teach you. I want you to look for the meaning in what they say or what they don't say. All right, so let's see. Well, I'll just go ahead and call the other agent. Then I'll back into roll. So that must mean then that there's a reason. If we're equal on everything, basically, there must be something tipping the scale towards the other agent. What is it?
My heart seems to bleed toward the person who's got to send his kids to school, pay to send them to the private school.
Yeah, and so what I want you to get out of the role play is I want you to look for things that don't make sense. Now, we've all done puzzles, crossword puzzle, not crossword, what do you call it? Jigsaw puzzles, right? And you're down to a piece you think it should fit and it doesn't fit. I don't care how you could stand on it. You can squish it in there, but you can tell it doesn't fit. I want you to look for situations that don't fit. Now, when she said that, okay, then of course, we have to move fast. Matt came up. Matt, have you got your line ready?
Yeah.
All right, repeat it because you came up with a pearl. Go ahead.
So she mentioned earlier that one of the other fella showed up in a Toyota Camry and I pulled up in a Escalade, and the other person has kids and so then I just said, well, of the two people, so we're both on the same page, but of the two people, knowing what you know, who do you think is going to be able to represent you in an objective and unbiased way? The person that needs this sale or the person that wants to help you and represent your best interest? And there was more context to it, but represent your best interest. What was it? I don't know. Well, but anyway, that was it.
The issue, what he's demonstrating there is that not only the power of a question, anyone can ask a question. It's to ask them a question to basically, there's a book out there, like a brick upside the head, is to make them think. The greatest thing we can do in our conversation is to make them think, because when they're thinking, they're talking to themselves. Mm-hmm. And by the way, when we're talking to them, they can't hear themselves talk.
Right.
That's why we talk about the pause. Now, again, we'll go on to something else. Where my mind was going was this, because the bottom line, we're both equal agents. It's more convenient to list with me, but she wants to list with them because she wants to, as a ministry, to help them. They're not as successful because they drive a car and I drive a nicer car. I would have said, same line of thought. Well, okay, well, sounds like you got your heart kind of bleeds for them a little bit, right? Yeah, well, it might be better for you to make a donation of $10,000 to them and let me handle the transaction because it's going to cost you that or more if you hire them. Another way to make them what? Think. So that's what we were talking about today. And you know what? Matt probably has never said those words before, or I don't know that I've ever said those words before, but the situation, it fit. We are helping you recognize patterns in which you don't have to worry about memorizing words. Anything else you want to say about that, guys?
Can I ask a question on playing devil's advocate? I mean, couldn't it be the other way around, that the person who's flamboyant is actually one that cares less? And the other person would care more.
Okay, now I tell you, we can probably answer, but I want you guys to answer. I already know what I would say. Matt probably already knows, and Louise probably has an answer too.
Well,
what do we teach you guys? Mm-hmm. Who wants to take a stab at that? Well, this is a great exercise.
Question. Yes, make questions. Why?
Why what?
Why is not a really good question?
Here's something that comes to my mind. And I've had this conversation with my husband as we've exited a hospital like in the past. And we walk by the hospital garage and we see where the doctors are parked. And we see nice cars, we see not so nice cars, right? And I say to my husband, I wonder which doctor would be the best doctor to select. Do we want the one with the clunker? Do we want the one that's like the showy car, or do we want something kind of in the middle? Perception is reality. And I'm
What?
trying to think of how to convey that here.
Well,
but
Our-
zi-
I think
Good.
our job is to try to turn their perception for whatever they're thinking, because they could
Well-
think one way or think the other way.
well, I mean, Bev, if somebody's throwing my Escalade in my face, mind you, I drive a Toyota.
Uh-huh.
I got a lot of money. I'm really good at what I do, and I don't care what people think. So that's me. And I'm not saying that like in a rude context. It's just I don't care. But let's flip it on its head, as you're saying. Well, Zig Ziglar always said that you're paid in direct proportion to the value you bring to the world. My Cadillac just says that I help a lot of people solve a lot of problems, a lot of big problems.
Repeat.
What-
Repeat.
Hang
Here.
on a minute. Hang on, Louise. Hang on. I want you made the point for me. What Louise did is exactly the thinking that was on my mind. When someone makes a comment like that, well, they drive a Toyota. You're driving. You must not need me. You must not need this. Then what she did was she drew a parallel, an analogy. Would you hire your obstetrician based on what they drive or their track record? That's exactly the way we want you to think.
Right. Yeah, we're not, while this isn't physical, and I use this all the time. This isn't what, so when you're hiring an attorney, when you're hiring a doctor, I'm guessing, would it be fair to assume that you want the most proficient and efficient one? And maybe they do drive a Bentley to work every single day. But ultimately, at the end of the day, while this isn't surgery, physical surgery, this is financial surgery. How often are you selling property? Then you're taking them down this line of conversation.
Yeah.
So
that's the power of the parallel.
right.
Okay, Louise, good job on that one. You and I were zooming or tracking right on the same thing. Who does anybody want to raise their hand and have a discussion about something or challenge us?
I do.
Wait, you asked me to hold when I asked Matt to repeat Zig Ziglar's quote.
Okay.
Zig Ziglar says you are paid in direct proportion to the value you bring to the world.
Yeah, I believe it was Zig Ziglar's. Yeah, he said you're paid in direct proportion to the value you bring to the world, or the size of the problems you help solve. So I just help people solve a lot of big problems.
Yeah, he also said if you help enough people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Are we ready, Matthew?
Yeah, so mine was it was the one I was kind of practicing all week with the why would you want a realtor who can't negotiate their own fee? How would they negotiate your offer, sort of things. So
Hey,
I just want to dive a little deeper.
Really quick, Matt. I'm asking you this in the nicest way possible, so please don't take this as an attack. What's important about being able to use that exact scenario to you?
Well, in terms of I know when I first started real estate, like my first couple of deals, I really sold myself short in terms of value, and I had to learn the hard way in terms of kind of fighting for the number that I felt comfortable with in terms of what work I was providing. So I just wanted, in terms of like mastery, I just wanted to make sure that I would never run into that problem again in terms of selling myself short of my value, so to speak.
And will being able to convey those specific words in that specific manner, will that solve that problem, is what I'm asking.
Great question. Because you're not selling yourself short. You're thinking yourself short.
Right. It's you being able to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, and I'm paraphrasing, guys. This isn't one of Matthew's nuggets. I'm paraphrasing. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, aren't you at all concerned that if you hire somebody that's going to take a big old haircut, that they're going to give you a big old haircut too when they're negotiating the sale of the home? That's not going to solve your problem, Matthew. That doesn't solve the problem that you're trying to solve, which is value. Do you see what I mean? It's good.
I think so.
It's good to have the arrow in the quiver. It's one of my arrows in my quiver. But that's why I wanted you here today to have this conversation, because I wanted to know what's the X we're solving for. And what I heard you say is you want to ensure that you're not selling yourself short on your value, but you feel by using those words, it's going to accomplish that. And I say this as respectfully and with as much love as I can, it's not.
Matt is right on it with both feet, guys. It doesn't solve well, let's say, hey, Zig Ziglar, this is Zig Ziglar day. It doesn't solve the stinking thinking, because you've got to answer that and become confident. Why should they hire you? When you solve that, you may never need the other one.
That's it. That was my point. Thank you, Denny. You won't need those silly words because you've been trying it and brother, I love you. I'm saying this with love. You've been trying that same script for like 2 weeks now, on and off, maybe a little bit more. And I wondered why we were revisiting it. It's okay to sharpen the axe, guys. If I'm given 5 hours to chop a tree down, as Abraham Lincoln said, I'm going to take the first 4 and I'm going to sharpen my axe. So it's good to sharpen the axe, and it's good to be proficient at our scripts and dialogues and conversational patterns. But that something was telling me that wasn't the issue here. So we can talk more about it if you'd like, but anyway, I'll leave that there.
Okay. Can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
So in terms of, so what I'm hearing from you, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it's more of a confidence in the value that I bring to the client in terms of value proposition, more so than just that simple response to an objection to say, can I get a discount? Is that correct?
That's a piece of it. Yes. In short,
Okay.
in short, you're getting to a point in the conversation where they're saying, hey, I want to hire so-and-so because they're willing to give me a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel that if you can say those words in a specific manner, you quantify and qualify your value. No, you quantify and qualify your value when you help them number one, when you're confident in the value you bring to the table, but number two, when you help them self-discover how that might not be in their best interest. So you don't even necessarily need those words. You just need to ask the question, which is what I've done when I role played this with you. Hey, I'm genuinely curious. Help me understand how you perceive that's going to help you. Do you notice how I'm not going right into can I share my concern with you? It's
right.
like,
yeah.
I want to know, where are we coming from, guys?
And the tone, right? And the tone too changes.
There comes a time, guys, when we have to quit being the closer and being the consultant. It would not be unusual in that situation that you get to a point in your presentation when you reach the level of confidence that you can help them, right? That I have literally before closed my presentation. Okay, I tell you what, can we just have a conversation human to human? Don't look at me as an agent. In fact, I'm just going to talk to you like you're my golf buddy. Is that okay? And then I'd have a conversation. Be careful of using that yardstick to pick your agent, because it's going to give you the wrong measurement. And I'm going to go and have a heart-to-heart with them. And I have literally closed my folders. Nope, taken off my salesman's hat, name badge off. What am I doing? I already know that I can solve their issue. And so I'm not going to keep going down that road. I'm going to see if I can help them. I want to see if I can get in touch with them enough, because they're somewhere on here. They've been elected to hire an agent, but they're going to make a mistake. You guys, you do this naturally with your children. You don't let them ride their tricycle in the road. I don't care what they want to do. Or you do your best to have your conversation with your teenagers about the friends they hang around. You even try to advise your friends that are dating the wrong people. Y'all getting that? But what Matt's saying is absolutely right. You come off more genuine when number one, if you're that good, you don't need that listing. So if you need the listing, that's another problem. But if you believe in yourself, it's okay. Because remember, the decision is a two-way street. Are we going to work together as a two-way decision? Have we beat that to death, you guys?
So what are some quick tips on how to qualify and quantify that value that you're speaking of?
Well, okay. Well, I think we talked about this before, but I'll show you really fast and people can add in. But do you all understand do you believe that everyone should have the answer to that question?
Yes.
Yes.
Because although all real estate agents are homogenous, you know, there's the top 20% and the top 20% of the 20%. The bottom line is that imagine. So what do you think, guys? I think we have in Southwest Florida, I think we probably have 15,000 agents. What do you think we have in your area there, Louise and Matt?
43,000 agents subscribe to our local MLS.
So statistically, I checked this recently. 1 in 10 people in Florida are realtors. I think it was 66 at that point in time. It was 66,000 people were realtors in Florida.
Well, we seem to have a load of car washes popping up everywhere. It seems to be the new commercial business model. So what happens if they were in my 2-county area, 15,000 car washes? Or you get my drift? I mean, there's literally, if you drive to Florida on I-75 or I-95, I don't know about 10, I don't know if they actually were probably 10, there's an orange juice stand that says, welcome to Florida. They give you free orange juice and an application to apply for a real estate license. And you don't even know all of them, because when they go out to eat, the waiter or the waitress has a license, or they know somebody who does. So that's why, Madeline, we have to work on this. Should you be able to articulate that? And I have some helps here if you want to take a picture. We've gone over this before really fast. I don't know if I showed it here. Maybe it was last week. Gary Keller gives a vision speech twice a year on the market. And he shows NAR, the National Association of Realtors, surveys. So, for example, take a picture of this. This is from, I think, a year ago. Probably hasn't changed much, but this is what buyers want from their agent. So do you think that maybe you want to build your value proposition around some of these things? I would. Likewise, this is what sellers want from their agents. Now, you have your experience. I mean, you could have been a fighter pilot. You might have been a nurse. You can add your little flavor to it, but build your value proposition around what was important for them. And then, for example, you know, when you go in a listing presentation, we've been working on this. Why should I hire you? Well, I tell you, the survey says there's about 6 things that agents are looking, or sellers are looking for, and you have a list of them. And guess what? You shine on all of those. You guys comment on it. Matt, Lee, what do you think?
Hey, I just Googled this. Florida has the highest number of realtors of any U.S. state, with 225,563 registered realtors. This number is higher than California, which has the second highest number. So there you go.
Well, how many car washes do we have?
That's a good question. That'll be my second one. Hold on.
You guys, Louise, Matt, what do you have to say about building the value proposition?
Do you tailor it to each client? Do you tailor your value proposition to each client?
No. So well, actually, hold on. I'm going to speak for myself for a second. I just had a conversation with an agent that I coached last night. We talked for like 2 hours. And the conversation was about me discovering my why. And it took me many years to do it, many years to do it. And then on defeated, on bended knee, praying before God to help me understand why I'm here. And I mean that literally. Because I lost my drive when I got a divorce and separated from my family's team back in 2017. Fast forward, if you're for everybody, you're for nobody, Matalise. So that's one piece of the answer to you. No, you don't tailor your why people should hire you to each client, because if you're for everybody, you're for nobody. I Matthew am not for the seller that doesn't need to sell, that wants to smoke hopium and see if they can get $10 million for their $2 million home on Anna Maria Island. Not for them. Not for them. Don't even spend a lot of time talking to them. Now, this is part of my why. Don't take this, guys, because it won't resonate with you. If you try to rip this off and duplicate it, you will not resonate with this. My why, though, I'm the coach. I'm the educator that helps people that are at or in their most vulnerable moments with their most difficult decisions while showing care, professionalism, and having them see the Lord through me. That's why they should hire me. That is my why. That's why you should hire me, because I help people who are going through a really tough time solve a really tough problem. And I'm the knowledge broker that knows how to do that. So anyway.
That's great. Thank you.
Yep.
So I just made a note, Matt made me think, you guys, about inventory. I mean, here's the thing. Most likely the buyers you work with will know the inventory better than you. Why? Because they spend their time looking at homes. That's all they do. Instead of watching, Tulsa King, they're looking on Realtor.com. Here's the thing that I want you to understand and be able to counter. We don't look at homes. We look at trends. Do you understand the difference? Homes kind of come and go. We have a joke in our office. I've got two great listing agents. Well, the home has doors, floors, and windows. Now, again, we have to know that kind of to market it, to get the right description, whatever. But the home is the least important thing of what we do. What's more important? We said before, we don't list property. We list what?
The property owners.
Property owners. We don't look at homes. We look at trends.
Did that help you, Madalise?
It did tremendously.
Yep. So you will find who you are. You will find your tribe, your level of service. You will rise to the level of the service or your calling. That's why people should hire you. Not because Mr. Smith wants $1 million, Mrs. Smith wants a haircut, and Tommy down the block wants to relocate to Houston. You're not going to kowtow to their needs and help them solve their problems. It just doesn't work that way. And if you do business that way, it's not sustainable. You won't want to be in this business for a long time if that's how you operate. Because if you chase things, they run.
Sense.
So we've learned
makes sense.
Florida's got a couple 100,000 real estate agents here in the largest in the country. Let me ask you guys this question. Put it in the chat, please. Don't answer out loud. Some of you guys may know this, but this is worth knowing. Talking about a number of like a crowded real estate population. What is the most crowded state in the nation? Put it in the chat. What is the most crowded state in the nation? New Jersey, New York City. Oh, is that a state now? It's okay. Rhode Island. Y'all are all over this. There you go. Most crowded state in the nation is the state of denial.
There you go. Yep.
And you guys need to recognize that. That's what Matt was talking about. Somebody who wants $10 million for a home smoking opium, or a buyer wants something that's unreasonable. So enough of us preaching. Let's get into some roll our sleeves up. Who wants to get better? Let's go. We've got 20 minutes.
Let's see who's dropped some scenarios in the chat.
Denny, did your book ever come out?
Well, it's in manuscript form right now, being read by the second author. So
excellent.
I actually got 3 pre-orders, and 2 are from me and 1 from my wife. So
where can we go to pre-order, Denny?
Okay, I'll show you. I haven't shown this. I had it up a little bit ago, right there. So I'm going to find a publisher that only wants to print 1 at a time. So Louise, who wants to have a conversation? Come on.
Susie would like to have a conversation about a seller who wants to use a discount agent.
Tiffany?
Susie Skog.
Oh, Susie. All right. So we'll be the seller and we want a discount agent. All right, Louise, why don't you take that?
Sure.
I'm here. I'm just going to make a cup of coffee. I'll be back.
Okay. Susie, are you able to talk?
Yeah.
And okay.
So am I the agent or am I the seller?
You're the agent and we're at the table and you just completed your presentation.
Okay. So Luis, why are you still considering a discount agent?
Because the market is not doing so well right now. We don't have a lot of meat on the bone, so to speak, when we sell this house.
Yeah, I can understand that. I know you said that the person you had brought in to show you about renovations, their person was telling you that the price would be $50,000 to help you renovate. And I brought you a renovation company that is able to do it for a much more reasonable price. I know you said you liked all of the vendors I brought in. Do you see the value that I'm able to bring?
I do, yeah. I just, again, the market is declining, so we're not able to get as much out of the house today as we would have if we had sold it last year. So we're going to take a hit, and I just think it's not a hard question to ask the agent to take a hit with us.
Well, how sure are you that the agent that's doing at a discounted price is going to be able to put more money, like help you net more money?
Because the sale price minus the expenses for the sale equal what is left over, and that fee is one of the expenses of the sale.
Yeah, but how sure are you that they'll be able to help you sell the house at the price that you're wanting to sell it at and also successfully negotiate any repair requests?
Hi, Susie, really good job as far as the tone. I mean, I sense you're asking caring questions. Let me ask you a quick question before then we'll each of us give you a little feedback on it. How much of a discount were they asking for?
They want to use a discount agent that is, I forget, it's either 1% or 1.5%.
Right, but
I
did
think
you
he's
ask?
asking-
But did you ask her?
In my scenario, in the
Yes,
scenario,
yeah.
No. In that scenario.
In real life scenario, I know, but I don't think I asked Luis in this scenario.
Okay, so that's a point, you guys. If somebody's looking, I want it for less, I want it for more, you got to figure out how much that is. Okay, what would be another thing? Their fee is 1.5%, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm just kind of curious. Do you know how that's being split up between who's the listing agent and the buyer's agent?
She's gonna, that would be the amount totally for the listing agent, and then I think she was wanting to do like 2% for the buyer's agent.
Okay, and then again, my last question is that these are things you want to know. So then she's willing to pay 1.5%, then whatever your fee is, your total conversation is only around the difference between those two things. So if you typically charge 2 and it's 1.5, and she's getting the other is 1.5%, I just want you to know you guys are getting into the mud and the weeds and the jello wrestling for 0.5 point. So whenever you're talking numbers, this is my input, and I'll let the other guys go. You want to know what you're talking about, because sometimes it gets pretty ridiculous if you're talking about, $2,500 or $4,500, and now you start laying on your value, right? Like, for example, you did that with your vendor list already saved them money. So now you're cutting down that delta with every slice of the turkey meat. Matt and Louise.
I'll speak about the entry to the conversation, Susie, since Denny's kind of already discussed the value proposition and defining the number. when you enter into the conversation, this might be a follow-up conversation. I'm not sure, Susie, but in that situation, try your best not to lead with why. Because that's how you went into the conversation. Why are you still considering hiring a discount agent? That, number one, not only does it subconsciously, subliminally put them on the defense, but it doesn't cause them to think.
Yeah, I
So,
caught myself right after I did it. I was like, "Oh, why?" I know we're not supposed
and
to.
that's okay. It's fine, but it doesn't. I don't mind why questions when they're properly positioned, but why doesn't make them think? Why creates a subconscious? Our lizard brain kicks in and we fight or flight. So they do the opposite of think. They actually, and Louise kind of did. If you know Louise well enough, I could sense the tone that her response was, well, because if I want money, like it was like resolute. I want this money. We're having troubles making ends meet, whatever the verbiage was she used. Whereas coming from a different approach is like this. You go into it and say, Louise, it sounds like you're still considering hiring a discount broker. Pause. It sounds like you're still considering hiring a discount broker. Let her tell on herself. And then you ask a follow-up question, who, what, where, when, how kind of thing. And how do you think that's going to help you? Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
And the direction it takes the conversation. When you say, how do you think that's going to help you? She starts to tell you a story versus just saying, well, times are tough. We need money. She starts to tell you a story about how she perceives the value, and then you can intercede with the other things you did. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You guys realize that when times are tough, it's almost reverse. If money's flowing everywhere, who cares? Use a discount broker. However, when times are tough, every dollar, every quarter matters, correct? Therefore, you want to hire experience. And by the way, if they're a discount, they're probably selling on price, not strength. So the fact that the times are tough is even more so important. They hire a professional. Really quick story. My first wife was a nurse in an emergency room, and she had a list of doctors. If I ever get hurt and I'm unconscious, here's who I want you to have them work on me. And she said, if I go in the emergency room and I need stitches and it's in my face, don't let the doctor there do it. I want a plastic surgeon. Why? Well, the face is pretty obvious to people. The ER doc would have done it, sewed it up, but the job wouldn't have been as good as the plastic surgeon. Does that make sense? So the more difficult or sensitive the time is, or the location is, the more you need a higher level of professionalism.
And then there's there's the argument, kind of a different scenario, when you already are under contract with the seller and they end up getting a contract that's less than the launch price, and they ask the agent if they'll shave a little bit off of their fee because they're accepting less. The response can be, well, I'm paid a percentage of what you get, so I am inherently getting less. So we're all in it together. Like, there's that approach.
And what would be the counter of that, though? All right, so that's a good one. I've used that a number of times. What is the counter? What would be the bold statement to make? If you got to offer over asking price, could I charge you more?
Yeah, that's so good. Nuggets, guys. I hope you brought your nets to catch these gold nuggets that we're receiving today.
All right, come on, let's go. You
okay,
guys are quiet.
Janetta has one for sell by owner who would like to list with the same agent, but Matt has a comment.
Well, really quick. So guys, I've had this happen before where the home sells in a day, and therefore they feel by virtue of it only taking a day of my time, Denny knows where I'm going with this, that it shouldn't be as much money. And I said, okay, so if it takes us 8 months to sell your home, can I charge double?
Another one. First of all, I meant to mention this morning, and I meant to mention at the beginning of this call. I feel like there is tremendous value for us to be at the ready with more than one objection handler. I like to have 3 at the ready objection handlers and use the one that's most appropriate. Right? So Matt just shared one. Another one I've heard was when people go to the dentist to have a root canal, the dentist projects a certain amount of time. They estimate a certain amount of time to perform the procedure. If they complete the procedure sooner, are you going to ask them for a discount, or are you going to thank them for getting out of the chair earlier?
I gave you one more. I actually, there was a market period, you guys were, this was part of my listing presentation because listings were selling quickly. I didn't really understand it like I do now, but they were selling quickly. And I would always ask, Matt, you're my seller. So let me ask you, our fee is X. By the way, is it okay if I sell is it okay if your home sells quickly, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The reason I ask that is sometimes I've had some sellers that when we perform quickly, I mean, it's kind of like that initial cast where you get the fish right off the bat, right?
Okay.
They think one of two things. They think that maybe the home has been underpriced, and clearly we've looked at that and we don't believe that's the case. Or they think that because it sold so fast, I should discount my fee. Sounds silly, doesn't it? So for those sellers, I'll tell them, I'll tell you what, I'll sell your home slowly just to make you feel better.
All right. No, I'm okay if it sells fast. I don't want to be sitting around.
There you go.
Setting expectations is important. Like one of the ways that we set it up is, hey, Denny, if we are listening to the market very well, and we come out of the gate at this position, and we capture the buyers with the intended result, that's a slam dunk. That's what we want every day of the week. It might take a little longer. Like, prepare them. Like, it's okay if it happens quickly. Just like with your buyers, it's okay if you find your dream home on house number 1. You don't have to look at 5, 6 other houses. Like, it sometimes happens, and that's okay.
Or the big statement would be, would you rather find your dream spouse that, on your first marriage or your 5th?
Yeah. Do you believe in love at first sight? Well, some buyers do when they buy a home. They might buy it on day 1. Is that all right with you?
So I don't know what's in the chat, but I would like to give someone a challenge. I want you to work on your parallel or analogy skills. Okay. So I'm going to be a seller, and I want you to work with me and give me an analogy based on what I do. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what I do until you ask me what I do. Who wants to take the challenge?
I'll go for it.
All right, Matthew.
Can you
So
hear me all right?
Matthew, I got a question for you, my friend. Are you driving? Did you pull over?
I just parked.
Good. All right. We're at the table.
So,
And potential seller, go.
so what do you do for work, Mr. Seller?
Well, I'll go ahead and ask you if I'm ready to move forward.
Oh, okay. So after everything we've seen today, Mr. Seller, you ready to move forward with me?
Well, I am ready to move forward, but I'm a little bit concerned about working with you.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, you look pretty young. You told me that, you're kind of new in real estate, a clean cut kind of guy. I would probably look like like anyone's poster child son, but you seem a little bit less experienced.
Okay. Let me ask you, Denny, what do you do for work?
I have a lawnmower repair shop.
Okay. Oh my God. That's a tough one, but okay.
How long you been doing it?
How long you been doing it for?
Oh, I was doing it with my grandfather, but I've owned the shop for 25 years.
You were probably new at some point, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my grandfather taught me everything I knew.
Matt, come on.
So when you first started out, did you, oh my God, I don't.
You know what to do.
I'm just trying to get the words out.
That's right. No pressure. I'm just Googling the other agents I can talk to.
So Yeah,
Somebody help him out.
trouble.
Somebody help him.
Guys, I'm not going to solve all the problems. Denny and I, come on, this is what we're here for.
When you initially start your business, wouldn't you want to learn from the scratch?
Well, I mean, I kind of learned from my grandfather. So I was like 19 when we started it, and so I've been working on small engines ever since.
How was the first client that you got from?
I don't remember.
Can I hop in here?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask you, Denny, when you first started, were you enthusiastic and ready to go and ready to learn and ready to provide the utmost service for your customers when you first started?
Oh yeah. I actually not only that, but I want to make my pop proud too.
And you probably wanted to prove your value to the world, right? By,
Now, do you
your
guys
work that you
sense?
do for.
How do you guys sense he's on a road that might take him somewhere?
Beautiful, Matthew.
So okay.
Always remember, this is always a go-to. And you know what? If you can't make the pieces work from an analogy standpoint in a conversation, what have you done? You just got to know them better.
What about, you sound a lot like me, Denny. When I started out, I was really watched my mother do real estate. I was around real estate a lot before I even got started. Much like you were taught by your dad, but you only started your business at 25. So I'm a lot like you, that I started this business even before I actually became a licensed agent. So I've been doing this for a while. I'm confident that I can get your property sold.
Well, what if you weren't doing it for a while? I mean, you're on a good road. When you say I'm a lot like you, or you're a lot like me. So I was just picking on Matt because he's like 12. So yeah, so that is off. Yes. So what if all right, so let's just change it really fast. Louise, pick a profession.
Dentistry.
Okay, she's a dentist. Somebody handle that. Come on, Bev.
Yeah.
Bev, you ready? Go.
Yeah. So, should I go back to ready to move forward with me, or just?
Let's say, I'm going to go with somebody that's more experienced.
Okay, so, Louise, you mentioned that you're a dentist and that's your profession for a living, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember when you first started out?
I do. Yeah.
You graduated, you're finished your residency, you were all excited and ready to move forward.
I was, yes.
Right.
I had a fire in my belly. I did.
Okay, so that fire, you remember that. And you remember when somebody gave you a first chance, when you first had your initial patient?
Oh man, yeah, I made the biggest mistake. I was so glad someone was there to help me correct it.
Oh, there's
a
a little bit of a trap.
Okay,
My first patient died.
We never
Hey, so can I jump in real quick, Bev?
Okay.
Guys, the reason I ask people how long they've been doing stuff, again, be more interested than interesting.
Mhm.
Because we want to get quickly to well, that's why you should hire me. But I really want them to think. So you say, well, yeah, man, I remember when I got started, it was 20 years ago. But what I would have first done is she said, I want to hire somebody with more experience. Okay, Louise, what's that line in the sand? How much experience is enough experience?
Quantify.
Right. And then say, well, what do you do? I'm a dentist. Okay, nice. How long you been doing it? 25 years. Okay, gotcha. Cool. But you probably remember when you first got started, right? Well, yeah. What was your number one positive attribute you had when you first got started?
Fire in my belly. Fire in my belly.
Yeah, you had a fire in your belly. Okay, gotcha. Did you have some good people behind you?
I did.
Yeah. And how much experience do they have?
Oh, it's a family. It's generations of the family. I'm just following in their footsteps.
Legacy. Okay. Well, if you knew that the person sitting across from you right now is a lot like you, and it's kind of legacy, you know, I've got my mentors, my coaches, my family that combined experience somewhere between 60 and 100 years. So and I've got a fire in my belly that I don't necessarily need to help you, but I really want to. If you knew that were the case, and if for some reason I were to stumble, I've got them to catch me just like you had your people then, what would you say to that?
Let's rock and roll.
Isn't that a beautiful story? I want to go get tissue. Actually,
what is that saying? People work with people that they know, like, and trust.
I was actually going to get to that with the support staff that you had behind you. You know, and that was a key thing that Louise said earlier, that she had somebody there and she was grateful that when she made a mistake. So I was going to turn that, you know, circle that back with having a support.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying you were doing it wrong. I wanted to point out that the couple times that we try to use these analogies that I've heard, it's more interested than interesting. Guys, tattoo that on your foreheads, because I don't have an expectation of how quickly I need to close the gap on someone. Zero expectation. I want to learn a lot. And the reason I'm teeing that up, like, what was your number one your number one attribute when you graduated, when you got out of medical school? I want to find out if I can speak to that, because that's how we close the gap. We find out how we're similar.
Guys, I've got a hard stop. That was a beautiful. I love how Matt quantified experience. How do you know when it's there?
Right.
What a great question. You guys, thanks for being part of Mastery. This record is recorded. Will be on the YouTube channel. If you have not gone there, Denny Grimes, the Master of Real Estate, sign up, subscribe. You'll register to win a free set of Ginsu steak knives that are kind of rusty. I wouldn't recommend you use them. And you'll have over 200 videos that you can watch and study from. So thanks for participating, Matt and Louise. Thanks as always. David, peace out, brother.
Thank you, Denny.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denny.